Anyone buying cocaine in the UK could be indirectly funding Russian arms factories. That's according to the National Crime Agency here. Investigators have revealed that a money laundering network operating in the UK bought a bank to help support Russia's military efforts and evade Western sanctions. According to the NCA, launderers working for the group are operating at least 28 cities and towns across the UK.
These individuals and groups are moving billions of pounds in and through the UK. Now, a lot of that money is derived from local drugs trades. So that can be something like, buying drugs on a Friday night before going out. And as we step back in the National Crime Agency, we can then see a chain of events happening. So that money moves to a courier. That courier converts that money to cryptocurrency. That cryptocurrency is offshored. And this is part of a criminal ecosystem that is doing such large numbers that they've been able to purchase a bank.
Fascinating story. With me is our correspondent Will Vernon. Will, just tell us a little more about what the NCA is actually saying is going on.
Well, it's a bit of a complicated story, Matthew, but I'll kind of try and simplify it. What the NCA are saying is that they've established a link between this multi-billion-dollar money laundering network and the Russian state and the Russian arms industry. So this network they uncovered a few years ago, and they've been working to disrupt it and undermine it. As you said, they think that it still operates in 28 towns and cities across the UK. But what they've now discovered is that this cash is basically being funneled into a bank in Kyrgyzstan that is working with another Russian bank that basically acts as a conduit for the Russian arms industry.
I'll come to the critical players in a moment, but tell me what the NCA is saying about trying to interrupt the operations from top to bottom.
Well, a couple of days ago, I was actually driving back from a work trip and stopped at a service station, and I saw one of the posters that the NCA have put up in Russian and in English, basically a message to these couriers saying, we know who you are, we're after you, and we're going to get you. Because they are targeting these couriers that often the NCA say work for as little as a few £100s. And what they're doing is moving this cash around the country and in and out of the country as well. Because how the scheme works is that illegal businesses, so that could be anything from, as you were saying, a bit of a drug deal on a Friday night, buying illegal vapes, right up to people trafficking and buying and selling of illegal firearms. All that generates a huge amount of cash, dirty cash. And what this network did was basically swapped that cash for crypto. And then the dirty cash, they then run through legitimate businesses to clean it up. And that would then go into the bank in Kyrgyzstan.
Twin final thought then. You talked about the couriers, in a sense, the bottom of the chain. What about the top of the chain, George Rossi? Tell me more about him. And also tell me about, what are the sums of money we're talking about here?
So the main kind of kingpins, if you like, the people at the top of these networks, one lady called Ekaterina Zhdanova, she's in pre-trial detention in France. She's awaiting trial on unrelated financial crimes. And another guy, Georgi Rossi, who's the head of this other TGR, it's called this other part of the scheme. We're not entirely sure where he is at the moment, but he's under Western sanctions. Basically, in terms of the sums, they haven't put a figure on it, but it's understood to be many billions of pounds that are being generated in this scheme, so much so that they were able to purchase this bank in Kyrgyzstan on Christmas Day last year. That bank is working with a Russian bank called PSB, Pромsvyazbank. That is officially designated in Russia as a supporting bank of the defence sector. So the entire military industrial complex in Russia that makes all the drones and bombs and missiles and everything else, that is all either controlled by the Kremlin, state-owned, or very closely linked with the authorities. And Western officials say that Pромsvyazbank, PSB, is basically being used as a kind of sanctions evasion hub. So that's the way that the Russian defence sector, the Russian defence industry, use it as a vehicle to evade sanctions and do business with the rest of the world.
Well, it's a complicated story. You explained it very well, but a fascinating story as well. Thanks very much, Will Vernon, there to explain more of the details.